This year, the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim was nothing short of fantastic. The dramatic crashes of the likes of Bottas and Leclerc, the tension in the team's garages as they anticipated the worst crashes and conundrums, and not the least, the excitement of the podium sitters. Max has proven his skill time and time again, but it was in the rain where he was really given the opportunity to shine, and after the race, I think he has definitely cemented his place as the second best or best on the grid. I think his race pace has developed over the past couple years, and he has matured and starts to make fewer and fewer mistakes compared to his competitors. He qualified in an impressive second, with Bottas on his heels and Hamilton just ahead. However, at the start of the race, Verstappen and most of the grid had a tentative start due to a complete lack of grip, and he was quickly passed by Kimi and one or two other guys. Interestingly enough, the Alfa Romeo cars were both struggling a bit less than the other guys, and it ended up being because they started the race with auto clutch settings, which ultimately resulted in a 30-second penalty for both of the Alfas, putting them both out of the points after their success in 7th and 8th position. Nobody knows yet if it was intentional, but the stewards and the FIA definitely thought that it had given them an advantage, and it was deemed to be against the current regulations. This eventually elevated Hamilton into the points, as well as Kubica, who scored 10th, and gifted Williams with their first and likely their last point of the season. Verstappen didn't enjoy the best of starts. However, he quickly recovered to 3rd, and then Perez spins on lap 2, which brings out one of the many safety cars. Meanwhile, Vettel is tearing through the grid. By the time he makes his pit stop on lap 24, he has already climbed from last position on the grid to 8th, at which point the team decide to gamble to put him on slick tyres. Norris retires due to losing power in the engine. Ricciardo retires. Leclerc spins at the penultimate corner, which turns out to be the death trap of the race, which had reeled in Hülkenberg and denied him of a possible podium finish. The drivers found this third sector particularly challenging, as the grip was just not there, and one bit of understeer sent many, including Leclerc, into the gravel trap and out of the race. Lewis goes off in the same place and loses his front wing in the process. He also ends up getting a 5-second penalty on top of the 50-second pit stop which Mercedes were completely unprepared for at such short notice. A mistake with the tyre choice, at first putting on softs, then quickly changing to inters, a change of the front wing, and Hamilton's hopes of race victory were put to an end. I think what made this race truly exciting was the unpredictability of it all. The wet patches on turns were a thorn in the side of the drivers, and the spectators waited with bated breath, wondering who was going to be the track's next victim. Who would have predicted Mercedes to do so poorly, on their 200th race no less? Who would have expected Vettel to climb from last position to second on the grid? And surely nobody who would have predicted Kubica's points for Williams, or Kvyat's rather special podium for Toro Rosso, which you will surely remember and treasure. I think we will see a transformed Kvyat after this, and who knows, maybe he will be even moved back to Red Bull next year after this impressive performance. One thing's for sure, and that's that this race was one of the best of the past few years, and will be remembered in history. Total, complete, and utter havoc.